Hello everybody, I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this Saturday, June 4th, 2022. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated and Ag Risk Advisors. Well, over the past week, for some of you folks in the northern Rockies and the northern plains of the Pacific Northwest, you had some good amounts of precipitation, very, very heavy mountain snows in the mountains of southern Montana and northern Wyoming, and a really good way to wrap up May with some wet conditions for some of you. Even in the areas of eastern Colorado and parts of Nebraska, got some really good rain. Summer, though, is slowly starting up. One thing that's different about what we see this June compared to a June a year ago, a lot of you will maybe remember last June 2021 in the Western United States was a very warm and dry month. It doesn't look like, at least for the start of June, it's going to be nearly as hot as what we had a year ago. So that bodes well. You don't want to get too hot too quickly. So that's one nice thing that we do see. But a summer pattern is slowly evolving. But temperatures are going to be moderate, nothing really hot yet. Now the desert states, yes, you're going to heat up as you always do in June. But for the northern plains, northern Rockies, Pacific Northwest, really a very gentle way to get into summer so far. There will be some shower and thunderstorm activity, although we're going to see less in the way of these strong spring storms and more of an early summer pattern developing. Over the last week, boy, you can see the heavy precipitation that fell right here. Now, this was really, really needed in these areas here. And we've got some parts of northern Wyoming and many areas of North Dakota that are really seeing significant drought improvement. Even a really nice patch of rain here over the northern half of Colorado, into the panhandle of Nebraska, then back into Idaho, even into northern Utah there, and again, the Pacific Northwest. Of course, this area along and south of I-70 continues to be the trouble area, and that will continue to be the case. Only light amounts of precipitation here, although I do see some coming over the next week. If you look at the precipitation anomaly, you see the green and the blue there showing the wet areas. See these blue areas in the northern part of Wyoming and southern Montana there? Very heavy late May precipitation with that Memorial Day storm. Now the drought monitor does show some improvement. It's hard to tell from this map with all the red that you still see right here and into many areas of the far western areas of the United States and the Great Basin. But look at North Dakota. North Dakota only has one little slice of abnormally dry in the far western counties of the state, and there's also been some improvements. If we were to look at the last 8 weeks, the darker green and lighter green areas show where there's been drought improvement. So drought improvement in this area right here has certainly been measurable. A big improvement right here. Now, it's a contrast, and we've been talking about this in these videos, how the northern areas are going to be the most wet, but the southern areas are going to be the driest. And the last 8 weeks really is showing that trend. And I think the trend into early June will be to continue to favor these areas here. The southwestern states, the middle to the end of June, we're going to start to see that North American monsoon start to feed moisture up out of Mexico, and we'll start to see thunderstorm activity returning to those areas. As we take a look ahead, this is what we have for the weekend. The jet stream kind of moving in a west to east fashion across the U.S. This strong storm will kind of stay stuck off the coast of British Columbia. We'll have some thunderstorm activity this weekend across the central and northern Rockies and southern plains. The southeastern United States looks a little bit on the wet side, but it's not a terribly warm start to June. And if you look at next weekend, kind of the same pattern. The jet stream is going to come in from the west-northwest. That low stays up off the coast of British Columbia and the Gulf of Alaska. So this will keep us in a moderate temperature pattern with the only real heat building up down here. That's where the summer heat's going to be the rest of the country next week. And into the next weekend, a very moderate June forecast. Taking a look at the precipitation forecast over the next week, you can see we're going to have some needed rain falling in this area here. And look at getting back into New Mexico maybe. A little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity coming, and you see this moisture right here. This is the beginnings of the North American monsoon season. Next week's map, I'm going to be able to probably show you better precipitation chances here, but that's about a week or two away. The northern plains, the northern Rockies, this area right here is going to continue to be the most wet over the next 7 days. Snowfall, this is the last time we'll show you this map this season. You can see only the high elevations of the Canadian Rockies and the Northern Rockies, and that's mainly some very high elevation snow chances with these showers, but not nearly as snowy in the mountains as what we've seen over the last week. Temperature-wise, this is what we mean by moderate. A lot of the lower 48 states, looking at temperatures for the first 7 days of June, well, a little bit on the cool side. Wherever you see blue, temperatures are forecasted to be a little below average. The orange areas here will be the areas warmest relative to the 30-year normals. Our next update will be June 11th. Have a great week ahead, everyone.